Hi everyone, I'm Kariva Devine and welcome to 12 News in Focus. Every week we look back at some of the great stories brought to you by our 12 News journalists. On today's show, how one woman's vision for downtown brought the story of Phoenix to life. And then coming up later, diving into the ocean to swim with some gentle giants of the ocean. But first, a secret sandwich that requires a code word is causing the internet to lose its mind. Our Kyle Simchuk is on a roll with this deli's bread and butter.
What can I get you?
At Speed's Hangar Deli, things move fast.
And you want to eat here or you want to take it out?
And the sandwiches, even faster out the door.
I just give them a paper plate and I give them extra napkins and I wish them luck.
A lot of meat.
The steak sandwich is my favorite thing to get.
Like I said, it's not a sandwich shop, it's a deli.
A deli with a story more than 3 decades in the making.
Last Labor Day was 33 years.
Deborah Kovacs grew up in New York and moved to Arizona for school, eventually turning what started as her ex-husband's dream into something entirely her own.
It is what it is. I'm remarried, so I've had the deli ever since, renamed it, changed it into my personality.
And personality, she's got plenty of that.
Not bad for an arthritic 71-year-old, huh?
She's the cook, the cleaner,
Made it.
and even the waitress. More recently, business has exploded,
I will take the phone off the hook sometimes.
all because of social media.
I saw her on TikTok.
And a secret sandwich that requires a code word.
Do you know the code word?
Dude, what's the code word for the sandwich?
The internet has lost its mind
I heard there's John Pork.
over her John Pork sandwich.
I'll make him proud. He ate it in one sitting.
Oh yeah, all the way from New Hampshire for that.
It's a BLT on steroids with 18 strips of bacon,
2/3 of a pound.
a sandwich that's part meal, part challenge, and part internet joke.
I think it really does justice to the sacrifice Mr. Pork made for our community. You know, some people climb Mount Everest. I finished the John Pork secret menu sandwich.
But Speed's Hangar Deli has plenty more to offer.
This is basically a chicken Reuben with bacon on it, German-style sauerkraut, cheese.
While the internet loves her personality, it's the food that keeps people coming back.
The prosciutto is natural from Italy. The brisket is natural from Austin, Texas. I make all my own tray food. I make my own ranch, Russian, Italian, spaghetti sauce, beef gravy, and beef chili.
Everything is made with one goal in mind:
People work hard for the money like I do, and they deserve their money's worth. You starve in here, you're either a teenager or it's your own damn fault.
with lines growing longer, Kovacs had to hire help.
I like to make this place run as a community, in that everybody talks to each other, doesn't matter what age group.
That sense of community, something Kovacs says matters more than the viral fame.
It's not all about content, it's about humanity.
As long as she's behind the counter, expect bold personality and big portions.
Trying to make it stay together, I give up.
I'm Kyle Simchuk in Prescott for Rediscover Arizona.
Parents are their child's first teacher.
Vocabulary acquisition at ages 3 and 4 is actually the #1 predictor of reading on grade level at 3rd grade. So we need to pay careful attention to what happens in that birth to 5 time frame.
But for many Arizona families, access to high-quality early learning is limited.
It's a gap, but it's also an opportunity for partners here in the state to work collaboratively to close that gap.
Right now, only about 1 in 4 children can attend those programs, leaving many without that early foundation. That's where a new federal investment comes in, an $8.4 million preschool development grant aimed at strengthening the system behind early education.
Systems, not silos, are going to create that change we want to see for child outcomes.
Instead of direct classroom funding, the focus is on long-term fixes, like helping preschool and childcare providers improve their offerings through the Quality First Resource Program.
With coaching, we also offer some incentive funding so that they can help to build libraries within their centers. So with those supports, they really are able to reach those quality ratings.
Ratings that then help parents with school choice. They also strengthen business plans.
They go into the business because they have a love of children and they really want to work with kids. And sometimes because of that, they have less experience on the business side.
Leaders say even a 1-year grant can make a lasting difference, especially as education budgets remain tight.
Helps us to build some of the foundational pieces that we've been working on. Hopefully make the results and the impact of this 1-year grant last many more years beyond.
March
March 25th was a big day for second graders at Chandler Unified School District.
Kids are great.
They were excited. They were ready to go.
It was their school field trip to Shamrock Farms to learn about life on the farm.
And I was really excited about it, to spend the afternoon with my daughter in her class. We didn't know what to expect. They just knew there were cows, and they were really excited to see the farm and tractors and things like that.
But the biggest lesson of the day came unexpectedly when bus drivers Michael Randall and Doug Rogers saw something in need of help.
I look over to check my right, and I see something in the canal. I thought it was a deer.
My first thought, it looked like a coyote. I didn't know, and I looked again. Then I heard the kids say, "It's a dog, it's a dog, it's a dog." Me and one of the teachers, without it, it was like an unspoken eye contact. And I literally looked at her and I said, "It looks like we're gonna go save a dog."
Save the dog! Save the dog! Which is exactly what Randall did.
Does it surprise me that he would have jumped out? No, not at all. Not at all.
Once off the bus, he saw the dog exhausted and in distress, stuck in the canal.
Every time I would go one way, the dog would go away from me.
Chaperone Julia Valenti sprung in to help.
In my opinion, she's kind of the hero because she literally just jumped into action.
The dog was sort of frozen in the middle, in between us, and I thought, all right, here we go. So I took off my socks and my shoes.
As Randall tried guiding the dog from above, Valenti jumped into the water.
I did not realize how strong the current was. I did not realize how slippery it was. The sides are so steep, I had no idea. I couldn't even get out on my own.
The two worked together.
You see an animal in distress, you want to help.
And after 10 to 15 minutes, the moment came everyone was waiting for.
So I scoop it. I've got one leg in the slippery moss. I've got one leg on the side of the canal, and I'm just holding it up, and we just 1, 2, 3 all together, hoist it up, and the dog gets out.
For the students watching,
it was a total teachable moment.
It wasn't just exciting, it was unforgettable and became a real-life lesson in action about stepping up, working together, and showing kindness when it mattered most.
There's still good in the world, that people still want to do the right thing, that we can come together and work as a team.
For me, I just think it was good that they saw like something good as far as like teamwork and collaboration and talking to each other and working out a situation.
It wasn't just a lesson for the students, but also for the adults. Rogers tells me he hopes it'll inspire students to jump in if something or someone is in need of help. In Chandler, Jay Cunningham, 12 News.
Look in almost any direction in downtown Phoenix and you can see new apartments and businesses going up nearly every month. It's largely Christine Mackey's years-long work coming to fruition.
All those years ago, at nighttime, you'd walk out from the building to the parking garage and you were all by yourself. There was not another soul.
Mackey spent more than a decade at the city of Phoenix. And as director of economic development, she had her work cut out for her.
We used to drag people kicking and screaming to respond to our requests for proposals because nobody wanted to build in downtown.
She had the foresight to look around and see not what was in front of her, but what could be.
Today, when you walk out at 10 o'clock at night, there are people walking around all over. It's a really cool feeling.
In 2014, the city had a goal of 10,000 residents living here by 2030. Well, by 2024, roughly more than 23,000 people call downtown home. And Mackey attributes the growth to 5 things. Red Development investing in Block 23, that's the building on Jefferson and 1st Street, the Convention Center, the Sheraton Hotel, light rail, and the universities.
If any one of those 5 things didn't happen, we wouldn't see what we have here today.
Through thoughtful proposals, community engagement, and city support, she and her team brought the story of Phoenix to life. And yet one of her biggest achievements isn't downtown at all, but 26 miles north, the TSMC site, an investment worth an estimated $165 billion. But it wasn't always a go, initially losing the bid for a site.
They granted us a 30-minute meeting. And 2.5 hours later, we had rolled out our idea for a science and tech park, and they said, we clearly need to come back again.
After 11 years, she made the move from the city to president and CEO of the Greater Phoenix Economic Council, where she says she can make an even bigger difference.
Help set the vision for the entire region. For the last bit of my career was just something I couldn't say no to.
SNAP is actually really beneficial because the only income that I have coming in is a small loan that I get every month from a family member. And it's barely enough to cover my bills.
Meet Jenny Duncan. The Whitman resident is disabled. She received almost $300 a month, the maximum, for SNAP benefits until last winter.
Without it, you're eating a lot more potatoes. I've also had to put things on credit cards that, are near max anyway.
She is among the roughly 47% of Arizonans who no longer receive food stamps since last summer. That includes 180,000 kids, according to the left-leaning Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. That organization this week said Arizona leads the country in removing people from government food assistance. The cuts come as a result of President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. That put additional restrictions on SNAP starting last summer.
We're seeing people lose their benefits because of so-called crackdown on fraud, which is really nothing more than bureaucratic paperwork, making it harder for people to get food that they need on their tables.
Governor Katie Hobbs, a Democrat, said Arizona's rapidly growing ESA program deserves the same level of fiscal scrutiny. She said the two are not directly related, but
it is an entitlement, as is SNAP. We should be seeing the same kind of regulations on ESAs as we do on SNAP beneficiaries.
While SNAP primarily helps low-income earners, 12 News Investigates found the ESA program primarily helps upper-income earners, with thousands using ESAs on luxury items. However, the Republican-controlled legislature has refused to make any changes, especially since ESAs were expanded in 2022 for all kids, regardless of how much a family made. Look at this explosive growth. Within a year, 62,000 kids joined the program, not just those who were leaving public schools, but families already in private schools and already homeschooling signed up in droves. By the second year, nearly 75,000 students used ESAs and over 85,000 the next. Today, more than 101,000 students use ESAs, costing the state much more than expected. Before the program opened to anyone in 2022, it cost about $176 million per year. Then it jumped to $475 million, to $717 million, to $872 million. Last year, $1 billion. And now it's projected to hit $1.2 billion.
And ESA is supposed to be helping, kids. But if we're not feeding our kids, it's kind of astonishing that they put one thing over the other. A primary benefit, so, you have to eat. You don't have to have a tablet for school.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. This is always a fun day for us.
A celebration at Phoenix Children's Hospital Wednesday.
They are the most strong and resilient kids.
As more than a dozen infants with severe congenital heart disease graduated from the Cardiac High Acuity Monitoring, or CHAMPION, program.
These babies have needed an intervention, or have had an intervention in the first, 3 to 10 days of life. Their heart chambers are not fully developed. One side is very small. So we have to, like I said, rearrange the plumbing to have that one pump pumped to the body.
Chief of Cardiac Surgery Daniel Velez says it's a milestone worth recognizing.
The hearts are the size of a walnut, if you will, and that first stage is very difficult. And once they cross over to the second stage, things are much more stable. Today we're celebrating that they have come over to the second stage and we can worry a little less.
So she's had 3 heart operations and open heart surgery.
1-year-old Caleb was diagnosed with a rare heart defect while in utero. But thanks to the program, her mother, Jayziana Anexel, says her daughter is now thriving.
I'm happy and emotional. I'm trying not to cry right now. I am overwhelmed and I'm just so happy. I'm so grateful for everything that everyone at the hospital has done for her.
Congenital heart defects affect about 1% of live births. Most cases are critical, and most families aren't sure where to turn.
It's the most terrifying thing that you can ever experience.
Event speaker Frances Rockwood says her daughter Kinley is a graduate.
In a nutshell, she was born with half of a heart.
And adds their medical team at Phoenix Children's is a group of heroes who gave their family the confidence to fight.
The reality of this diagnosis is without intervention, these babies would not be here today.
So as each child received their certificate of completion,
she taught me patience, to have patience and to not give up, to keep going.
Joy was felt by all, because while small, these patients are mighty and will no doubt go through life as champions. Jay Cunningham, 12 News.
They're the size of a school bus, the biggest fish in the ocean, maybe the biggest in history. Mythic, endangered. They're whale sharks, and we're going to swim with them. Cabo San Lucas, known for its famous white sand beaches and Land's End Arch. Cruise ships visit and float just offshore. Our adventure begins about a 2-hour drive north, a harbor in La Paz, Mexico.
My name is Jesus, I'm the captain. Welcome on board, guys.
A 40-minute boat ride puts us on top of a very unique spot, a winter home for young whale sharks.
Okay, this size, please. Get ready. Have your seats.
All right, let's go see these sharks.
Our group gets in the murky water, and suddenly, we see a huge whale shark coming right towards us. It dwarfs us in size. It opens its mouth, taking in seawater rich with plankton and small fish. 50 pounds worth a day they eat, filtering the water through their giant gills. This one doesn't even seem to notice us.
They have been here for a long time and they are very gentle. I mean, it's more quiet than being with the dolphins or with the sea lions, because they don't gonna looking to stay with you, to bite you, to have a big convivence. They are just feeding, and that's it.
Just minding their own business.
Yes.
The rules here are very strict. The sharks can't be touched or bothered in any way. But what a sight to behold. It's surreal being this close to a gentle giant.
That was amazing.
What's it like when you swim with them? What do you feel like when you do that?
It's a surreal experience. You don't know if you are in this reality or where you are, because there's nothing like the whale shark, you know. I don't know, I can't imagine because I never saw a dinosaur in front of me, but something like that.
Police departments around the valley, including here in Glendale, are utilizing a new software that takes all of their internal data and centralizes it on one platform, allowing them to solve crimes a lot faster. Inside Glendale's real-time crime center, time is of the essence.
Our window of opportunity is between the time someone calls 911 and an officer arrives on scene.
Police officer Tom Ward only has minutes.
Anything quicker than that, of course, is golden.
To collect as much information as possible about a crime and potential suspects, oftentimes a lot of the information investigators need is already within the department's reach.
We make the data that the department already has usable.
In the past, data stored by a police department lived in separate locations. A new software called Peregrine centralizes it all in one searchable platform.
Say someone calls 911 and they're reporting a crime and they notice that the suspect has a tattoo of cheese on their arm.
Using a demo, Catherine Masters, a Peregrine senior account executive, shows us how an investigator can use a one-word description to gather information.
This information that, again, an agency already has, but also the tattoo that comes back in a photo.
The ability to actually just do one search and hit multiple databases has really sped up our time on getting that information where it's needed quickly.
Glendale Assistant Police Director Brent Axine tells me the tool has already assisted in solving cases, including a recent shooting.
They cleared that case because of that within minutes. Before, if it happened, it'd be days or weeks.
The platform is accessible to officers, even in the field.
Officers are becoming detectives, real investigators on the street.
Masters says Peregrine is held to criminal justice data protection laws, meaning the Arizona Department of Public Safety and the FBI audits when someone's data is accessed and why.
We actually protect that data if it's shared across the platform, whether that's from detective to detective or from a patrol officer to another jurisdiction, because we have complete audit trails.
Axine, who's been with the Glendale Police Department for 5 decades, says technology advancements are helping them solve crimes and keep communities safe.
Are we saving the officer time and effort, and are we bringing closure to the victims of these crimes?
That funding gap is already having real impacts here in Arizona. Right now, early intervention programs rely heavily on taxes from traditional tobacco, but not vaping products. And as a result, programs targeting early literacy and developmental screenings for kids are now serving fewer families. Advocates say the fix could be simple if lawmakers act. The building blocks of school readiness start stacking years before kindergarten.
We know that from birth to 5, 90% of the brain growth happens within that window. It's the time that we should be focusing on the child's life the most.
From speech therapies to early literacy support, child care scholarships, and health screenings. In Arizona, many of those programs are funded through a voter-approved tobacco tax. But Joe Barba with First Things First says that funding model is starting to break down.
Today we are operating with about $80 million less in revenue. So whether you're a nonprofit, a state agency, or a business, $80 million less in revenue every year is going to substantially change the way that you operate.
The reason? Fewer people are smoking traditional cigarettes, but many haven't quit nicotine. They've switched to vaping, and those products aren't taxed the same way.
That happened in 2006. 2007, vapor and nicotine products entered the market. If our forefathers and foremothers, would have anticipated the people would be smoking out of USB sticks, that language would have been included in the original voter initiative.
Advocates say there's a straightforward fix. Update the law to include the same point of sale tax.
If voters in 2006 would have had that also in that language, they would have absolutely approved it. And so we have an opportunity now to close the loophole and to modernize our tax structures on these products.
But that proposal has stalled at the state legislature, and without new funding, programs are already being cut. For families already struggling, that could mean fewer options and harder choices.
There are going to be families, if this isn't solved in the future, that won't have those same opportunities.
And without the right stepping stones and a harder climb to success, advocates say it sets up a shaky outlook for Arizona's future workforce.
But that investment starts with our youngest Arizona citizens.
Thanks everyone for watching, and just a reminder, new episodes of 12 News in Focus premiere every Friday on 12+. You can also watch past episodes on the app. All you have to do is download 12+ on your TV devices and you can watch for free. I'm Kadiba Devine. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.